So why do narcissistic, toxic, abusive people hate, really do not like being ignored? Why is that? Why do they hate it when you take away their power and stop giving them emotional reactions and just ignore them? Why is that? That's what we're talking about today, y'all. Of course, if you're new here, I'm Lee Hammock. I'm a clinically diagnosed narcissist, and welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code. Let's get it. Hmm. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Y'all do not understand how my intro gets me hype. How my intro empowers me. It makes me want to hop on there. Look, the intro. Yes, yes, yes. Australia is in the house. What's going on? Thank you for being here, Melanie. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? But today's topic at hand: when you ignore a narcissist, how do they feel? Like, what goes on inside of their minds? Are they okay? Are they feeling good about themselves? Do they feel empowered? Or do they hate it? Do they loathe it when you strip their power away by not responding to them, by not reacting to them? I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to go with option B. They hate being ignored. They hate it when you strip them of their power and no longer talk to them or deal with them, right? No contact is one thing, right? Not everybody can go no contact. Let's be realistic. Everybody doesn't have the ability to go no contact. I know there of course, will be people that argue that, yes, you can, Lee. You just got to do this. I with no contact, da 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 da. Yeah, I know you might have been able to go no contact, but not everybody has that same ability, right? Because of everything that goes on, right? But when you can't go no contact and you don't give them energy, boy, this could be there. Y'all understand that there's people that talk to me and say, "Hey, Lee, I would love to ignore them, but ignoring them makes them angrier. They get angrier when I ignore them. When I don't give them any emotional energy, they get angrier. What the hell is going on? Because they feed off of your reactions. Like a little mosquito feeds on blood. Like, just imagine a little narcissistic ex with a little antenna coming from their nose trying to feed on you. And like, I need a reaction. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Little narcissistic mosquito, like, bzz, 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 I need a reaction. Bzz, bzz, bzz. They can't, if you don't give them anything to bite or suckle from, they lose it. That's why I tell people all the time to just don't give them any energy. With that being said, I also understand how difficult it can be to not give them energy, especially when they're trying to belittle you. Because the first thing that they're going to do when they notice that you're ignoring them is to try to apply pressure to you, right? Is to try to apply pressure to you. Some of them will try to, if they notice that you're ignoring their text messages, guess what they're going to do? They're going to text you more, right? If they realize that you're ignoring their calls, guess what they're going to do? They're going to call you more. They're going to try to overwhelm you and exhaust you to the point where you feel like, well, damn it, it's easier to just respond to them because I already know what they're, if I don't respond, they're going to keep calling, they're going to keep texting. And that's why you need to document everything that you're going through. Document it, write it down, screenshot it, put it in a little damn manila envelope and get ready to report it to the police when you need to, because you're going to have to get their asses arrested or you're going to have to press some charges sometimes. Well, Lee, I don't want to get the law involved. Hey, then by all means, go ahead and respond, react, give them all the energy that you're going to give them. Go ahead and give it to them. Because if you're scared to force them to stop, then they're never going to stop. Your life is never going to change with this person. You're going to feel like you're stuck and small and can never release yourself or free yourself. And that sucks. It absolutely does. You have to ignoring somebody seems easy, right? It seems like when you have to ignore somebody, you're just looking at a message and you're like, oh, I could just ignore that. I'm not going to respond to that, right? You feel like you can do that right there, right? You know, you feel like you can do that, but that's not how it works. Ignoring requires you to sometimes look at them, go back and forth, do this type of stuff, and then, like I said, then you got to choose to not respond to them. Ignoring is not easy. That's why it takes power to ignore someone. Now, if you can go no contact, now if you have the choice between ignoring and going no contact, if you have the choice, listen to my words. If you have the choice of going no contact or ignoring them, no contact is the way to go. But if you can only ignore, let me give y'all this little tip right here. This is a tip that I tell people right here. Well, Lee, we have kids, so I can't ignore. I have to read every single message. No, you don't. Let me tell you why you don't have to read every single message. Appreciate the donation to the channel right there. Super sticker. Appreciate that. All donations to the channel are greatly, greatly appreciated, y'all. Look, here's a tip right here. And this is a special tip that I tell people. I tell this tip to people that are co-parenting and when I'm doing one-on-ones, right? This is the tip I give people. If they're bombarding you and insulting you and messing with you when you're ignoring them and you're not giving them any energy, but you feel like you have to read stuff because you have kids, if you use any type of AI, Google Gemini, Perplexity, Chat GPT, whatever, you can screenshot all of those messages, put them in Chat GPT, and ask Chat GPT to scan them for important details about your kids. Hey, Chat GPT, hey, Google Gemini, ignore the rest of the stuff. Ignore the insults and the bad stuff. Is there anything important about my children that I need to know? Put your kids' names in there and do it like that. Have ChatGPT take the verbal abuse for you. It can take it. Have Google Gemini take the verbal emotional abuse for you. They can take it. I promise you. They can take it. Right? They can absolutely take it. Screenshot all the messages. You don't have to read them. Put it in the Gemini. Put it in the Google. And just ask them to give you a synopsis. Ignore the insults. Is there anything important about my kids? Did you know you can do that? Well, now you do, right? Did you know you can do that? Now you can do. Appreciate that. Did you know you can do that? Now you do. That way, if you're ignoring them and they're bombarding you with messages, calling you a horrible father, calling you a horrible mother, threatening you, doing this, doing that, screenshot it all, slide it into ChatGPT or Google Gemini, and have it break it down for you. Hey, Google Gemini, ignore the insults and the disrespect. Please tell me, is there anything important about my kids that I need to know? No, there's nothing in here. Okay, cool. You don't got to read that. You got to read it. You can ignore using the Gemini. You see what I'm saying? You can ignore using that. You can ignore. You say, I still need your help. Yeah, I do. So I do Zoom calls. I do one-on-one Zooms. I do phone calls now as well. But I also offer a text messaging service where I text and do voice notes throughout the day as well via Telegram. That's a very new service. I've only done a few of them. I'm doing one right now. But there's limited slots available for the Telegram text message and stuff because I don't want to just overwhelm myself with a lot of people and lose control of who I'm texting, who I'm talking to. So I do that over. You can find all of that, find all of this stuff at mentalhealness.net or check out my website right here. It's the link.me. When I ignore him, it amplifies his anger and emotions. I mentioned that earlier. Did I mention that earlier? Because typically what ignoring looks like, y'all ever heard of the gray rock method? Like gray rocking a narcissistic person? Like when you remove emotional reactions and energy, when you start to ignore them and don't give them energy, sometimes they can get angry, right? Sometimes they absolutely can get angry and snap. Some of them will get angry and snap at you because they're losing control. They're losing power. They're losing it, right? They're losing all of this stuff right here because they're losing the power, they snap, they react because they want energy. So it's going to get, like I said, ignoring, you have to learn when to use it, when not to use it. Y'all ever hear that song right there? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You got to know when to hold them and ignore them, and know when to fold them and respond, right? It really just depends. especially if you're living with the person. It's very difficult to ignore somebody you're living with when they're being emotionally or verbally abusive and threatening you, right? It's very difficult. It's situational. There's situations for it, right? It's very important. It's very situational. It's very, very important. Ignoring them is like pulling away their drug. They go through withdrawal. Yes. And that's why they try to get a hit. Like really like taking away their favorite drug. So they need a hit, right? They need a hit. They need it. So they try to get it from you, right? They'll start threatening you. They'll start doing other things. They'll just try to, sometimes they'll lose crazy. They go crazy. Mind turns into the whole. Yeah. You ignore them. Oh, you going to ignore me? You going to ignore me? Ah! That's insane, right? Find a new hit elsewhere. Absolutely. Works on passive aggressive relationships as well. Yep. It does. It absolutely does. Yep. But that's what I was just saying. That's why they react negatively when you ignore them, because it takes away their power. They always feel like if you ignore me, it hits my ego. It makes me feel like, and the first thing, sometimes when you ignore a narcissistic person, especially when you're not together anymore, and they're using this, they're executing post separation abuse, and you're just ignoring them now, they're automatically going to start accusing you of having somebody else, right? Even if y'all are not together, even if they are married to somebody else, guess what? You must have somebody else. Simple. You must have somebody else. You must. Who is she? Who is he? They're gonna start hitting you with that type of stuff right there. Who is she? Tell me who she is. You know what I'm saying? Even if they are married and they have someone else, they'll still do that type of stuff. They absolutely will. It doesn't matter if they're married, divorced, single, separated, whatever the case may be. Yep. They will still do that right there. It's their go-to in regards to everything. Yep. You're absolutely right. Why do they get angry if they want it out? Because even if they want it out, they want you to want them. They want you to beg. They want you to plead. They want you to please don't leave me. Even if they have someone, that's what I'm saying. They want you to beg. They want you to stroke their ego. They want you to stroke their ego. My coworker cheats on his girlfriend with men. Oh dear. Oh goodness. That's a very unique thing. I just left a narcissist. Now I'm to blame. Yeah, they're going to blame you for leaving. Even if they were abusive, even if they were lying, even if they were cheating, they're going to blame you for their abuse. There's always someone else. Yeah, it cannot be the fact that they were horrible to you, right? It cannot be the fact that they were awful human beings. It has to be you have someone else. Yes, you're absolutely right, Joy. They can absolutely be vile people. Vile people. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, it just, in this, like I said, they need a reaction. So when you ignore, and they need a reaction to kind of feed that narcissistic flame, that narcissistic fire, right? They need fuel for the fire. So when you're ignoring them, or if you can finally go no contact, that stars out the fire. It's not any more fuel, right? There's no more fuel. So that's why they rage out, because they want the fire to be burning brightly, right? They want that fire to burn as brightly as possible. This is why they do what they do, right? This is why they do what they do. This is why they shoot what they shoot. Like, seriously, this is their mentality. This is why you get people who do things like this, who behave like this. And all you're trying to do is love them and care about them and be there for them. But instead, they get very, very messy. They get very, very toxic. They get very, very manipulative and whatnot. I'm so used to their childish behavior. I don't pay attention anymore. Yeah, this is how it goes right there. Pay no attention, give them no energy, ignore them. And something else, let's be real. Sometimes when you ignore them, they'll leave you alone. Like sometimes, notice I say sometimes, right? Sometimes when you ignore them, they will leave you be. Other times when you ignore them, they will flame on, like some other people in the lives have said so far. They will flame on like Johnny Blaze, Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four. They will flame on and they will become the victim because you ignored them. Flame on, just like Johnny. I'm so happy I get to be on the live. What's up? Smear campaign, kings and queens. Yep, it's absolutely going to be. You're dealing with this type of person. You're absolutely going to be part of a smear campaign. They're going to accuse. If you ignore them, they're going to accuse you of doing all kinds of craziness behind the scenes. You can't, like I said again, y'all. You can't just be ignoring them because you're just tired of their stuff. You have to be ignoring them because you're cheating. you're sleeping with somebody else, you're doing something along those lines. It can't just be that right there. It literally just can't be that right there. The silence is grand. It absolutely can be. My coworker that I'm great rocking, I catch him staring at me in the reflection of some mirrors. Yep. The same one that's cheating on his wife with men. That same one. I am finally at the point where I don't call all day. Then he gets upset and says, "How could I have called him? How I could have called him instead of waiting on him to call." It's really sick. Yeah, you gotta stop playing the games. You see what happens when you started to ignore him? He immediately says, "Well, you could have called me." He wants to be chased. He wants princess treatment. He wants you to chase him. He wants to be the Cinderella in this story. And he loses the slipper. And he wants you to come put on his glass slipper. That's literally what he wants. That's what your boyfriend or your husband wants. He wants you to find his glass slipper, his size 14 glass slipper, his glass stiletto, and slide it on his big ass feet. He wants to be Cinderella. Himderella. He wants to be Himderella. Because of you, I was able to leave my 2-year-long distance with a narc. He used me financially. I'm glad you were able to get out of that. I really am. I'm glad you were able to escape that. His ego and slippers are made of glass. Yep. You can waste your whole life pouring love into a narcissistic person. They will literally drain the life out of you. Yep. And they think that you're okay with it. They don't care about draining the life out of you. As long as they're getting, look, when they're draining the life out of you, they're absorbing your life force, right? If they're draining the life out of you, it has to go somewhere. So they're draining, they're using it to empower them. They want control of your life. That's what I hate being in order. Yep. They want power and control. They want access, power, control. They want all of the above right there. I sued my ex, got wage garnishment and my money back. Oh goodness. I know you hate getting paid instead of garnishment coming out of there. I know you hate that. I would hate that. Cut off toxic ex-girlfriend. She said she's worried about never seeing me again. Yeah. Access. You said how it goes right there? They still immediately go to access and power. I want access. I'm mad. I'm afraid I won't have access to you anymore. Yeah, that's typically where it goes. I'm just telling you. If you're just joining the live, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Drop a comment. Hit the subscribe button. If you don't subscribe, you just pop up on this live. I'm Lee Hammock. I'm a diagnosed narcissist. I give you the inside look at the mind of a narcissist and toxic, abusive people. This is my website right here. If you want to book a call, buy my kids' book, my courses, everything is at mentalhealness.net. Literally everything. You can find everything about me at mentalhealness.net. Mentalhealness.net. Join my support group at Mental Healers. Yeah, I do have a support group as well, yeah. Now I got a few minutes for a Q&A, y'all. Then I got to hop out here. I got to get up in the morning. Lee, your haircuts look great. Appreciate it. Why do they think they own people? It really is that ego. It really is the ego. They love to, like, you belong to me. You feed my ego. The obsession, the ownership, the power. That really is crazy. Thank you for tuning in, Angela. I always appreciate your support. I can't talk straight. Can we still submit our stories? Yeah. If you want to submit your story, y'all, I'm literally about to go super hard with these story times. I promise you I am. I'm about to shift to story time content. I'm still gonna be doing videos and lives, but I'm gonna start posting more story time content in a different form. But send your story in to info@mentalhealness.net. It doesn't matter how long it is. It doesn't matter how long it is. Like I said, I'm going to break it down into sections and stuff like that. You can send your story in greater detail, the better, and I'll break it down. Info, y'all seen it? info@mentalhealness.net. What is the best way to respond when narcissists ask you questions? Did you reply with another question? So it depends on what the question is, right? It really just depends on what the question is. Like most times they ask you a question that requires an answer, just give it straightforward. No beating around the bush. Straightforward. Because you answer a question with a question, you just be going back and forth. I'm writing a book about mine. I was in something too. There you go. Princess treatment. Yep. Did you turn 40 yet? Do you rank a large number of people 80 babies high? I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 actually in about 2 weeks. And I don't necessarily think generational. Like there's a lot of narcissists regardless of generation. I know the young ones, the old ones, the youthful ones, and whatnot. There's a plethora of them all around. There's a lot of 80s babies though. hoovering by false accusations. Yeah, they can do the smear campaign. The smear campaign and false accusations, it could be a way to hoover you or suck you back into a relationship, because a lot of times it requires you to contact them. Right? It requires you to contact them. You want me to stop talking about you? Let's sit down and have a conversation. See? Left my narcissistic ex 2 weeks ago. He wanted to be friends. I'm like, oh hell no. Yeah, now he's playing games with the kids, so I had to block him. Yeah, but you see that right there? He goes from let's be friends to playing games with the kids. So you see, clearly you made the right choice in not wanting to be his friend. You see what I'm saying? You see how he automatically went to playing games and doing stupid shit because you didn't want to be his friend? That shows you what his real intent is. He just wants access. He used to talk on the phone hours to resolve arguments. He would talk in circles all the time. He knew I had to work. Yep, they just try to drain you and waste your time and stuff like that, knowing you got to get up and stuff like that. Knowing you had to get up. Your reverse hoovering videos are on point. I appreciate it. He was using the money he owed me to keep me in his life. Oh goodness. Oh yeah, yeah. Put you on that payment plan. What if you're carrying their child? I will always ask, how far along are you? And then if you pass a certain date, yeah, prepare. I'm not saying prepare for the worst. You just got to prepare to deal with a toxic bastard for a long time, right? If they're around. But anyways, y'all, I really do have to cut this one short because I got to get these kids to sleep and whatnot. I will be live again this weekend, probably Sunday, right? Probably Sunday and whatnot. I'll be live again on Sunday if y'all want to tune into the live. Make sure you check out my website right here, mentalhealness.net, for my calls, my text messaging, and everything, y'all. I'll be available. I got to finish up a few things before I put them to sleep. And we will chat later in this week, y'all. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. Love y'all. I'm grateful for you. And take care of yourselves, y'all. Peace.